It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima Akasha Zabiri. How are you?
I'm fine.
Doing today?
Good morning.
Morning.
Grateful to God for life, for everything. And we are back to our house. So my mom, I went to take her back home on Saturday and spent the weekend with her. And she's not been around at her house for a while because of her health issues. But she's insisted that she wants to go back home. Sorted that out over the weekend. It was a bit emotional for me, you know. But we're coping.
That's your mom? Oh,
We're coping, we're pushing.
You've been on that. It's been an emotional journey for you.
I'll be having to go home as often as I used to when Daddy was alive. So it's good.
No, life, yeah.
Amen.
How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. Grateful to God for life. Kids are going to be back in school tomorrow. I couldn't thankfully, I was reminded, get them ready for today. So I just said, hey, first day of school, play, they want to go and play. Let them resume tomorrow. But as she's talking about her mom, I've been trying to get my mom to come to my parents, mom and dad, come to my place and just rest. And my mom is like, no, my area people, this one, like everybody. I'm like, you say you're tired, you want to rest, like, just come. You know, so I think I might just go and, I'm going to go and collect them and bring them to my house because it's important that we spend as much time as possible with them when you have them available, you know.
Trust me, you got that right.
I know.
Talking about spending time with them, my mom has been with her sister in Jalingo.
Oh.
She's been there for a bit, and she's going to be there for quite a while. And I know it was something my mom has been wanting to do for a while. There was one night she woke up crying, I need to see my sister. Like, she really wanted to do this, so I'm happy that she's with her.
Given her the opportunity.
Yes, and that's the thing about relationships. I was talking to my siblings that we sometimes take it for granted that because we're born of the same parents that our relationships are just, you know, done and dusted. But if you do not put in the necessary work to improve those relationships, you find yourself...
Whose birthday is today?
Oh. You find yourself... Oh, my God.
Oh, my Lord.
But I've learned from this that we've been talking about to have more kids.
Ah!
Yes.
Linda, what?
She's learned to have more kids.
I've been thinking about it seriously.
Really?
I've actually been thinking about
I'm
it too.
open to having more kids. I see that, you know, when they grow older, they keep some relationships. That's what is most important. I remember my neighbor's family are in Kano, and he was the only one in Lagos. And when the last person died in Kano, I saw how badly he was. Just didn't think he would cope. They are your best friends as they're growing older. It's easier.
I love that.
I don't like this conversation.
I'm thinking about it.
I don't like it because my husband and his siblings were talking yesterday, and I was like, you guys are making me feel bad that I don't have anyone to talk to. That they were really, really talking, planning a sibling. No, I don't have any siblings to be checking on me. You know, they're actually having a conversation for another of their siblings' business. And they are strategizing on how to help that one boost his business.
When you outgrow when your children outgrow you, whose relationships would you keep? It's usually visiting sisters.
God is my God is my relationship.
But I know my kids will go their own.
More children is not on the table.
Thank you for asking, Jerry. I'm fine. It's just we're planning for school. We're getting ready for school, and I was going to say something. I had a banter. Oh, I thought fasting was starting today.
Oh,
starts on Wednesday. We'll start on Wednesday. 50 days.
All right, so you have coffee today.
Wow.
I'm not having. I'm doing just preamble. You know, preparing my mind.
Was it not 40
ease my well into
40 days.
It's 50.
50
this time.
Her church, they can do 100 days.
We are the ones praying for the nation. We are the ones with the burden. We are the burden of the nation. Yes, we are fasting through elections.
The burden of the nation. Okay.
So, let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Tinubu, I'll be fair to all tribes in front of the mama crowd here in Kwara. NDLEA intercepts drug consignment in wooden statue. CBN cash withdrawal limit policy goes into effect. Security spreads net to rescue 31 train travelers in Edo. Rivers bars Atiku's campaign from public schools. And Sanwo-Olu to Nigerians shun evil predictions. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, so I don't want to start with the sad news, but 13 new COVID-19 cases were reported in Lagos and Edo.
Did you say COVID-19?
Nigeria has recorded 13 new laboratory confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Lagos and 1 in Edo, according to the NCDC, after their weekly epidemiological data from their agency. And they're asking, you know, the necessary care should be taken. We've noticed this cough around us, dry and all of that. It came with the harmattan. You cannot tell the difference. So let's just be on the guard.
I just know that someone told me last week that I'm not the Minister for Health. When I said that we should go back to wearing our masks and everything, especially as our children are going back to school. And you know that we've just recently asked that all the regular protocols be put aside. I think we should just go back to wearing our mask and sanitizing our hands. NDLEA is, they said, has frustrated an attempt by some criminals to import illicit drugs into the country. They said that they had hidden these drugs in a wooden statue and also some imported vehicles. These criminals they used different types of ways to bring in these drugs. They said that they import consignments of illicit substance into Nigeria and export the same to the UK and the UAE. The boss for the NDLEA has thanked the officers and men of Tinkan, the MMIA, Dogi, that's DOGI, Lagos, Kaduna, and Kano, and also the Imo commands for their arrest and for these seizures. So they're asking, Buba Mara is also asking that all of us across the country, you know, be part of this war against this drug, and they'll also intensify the hit on drug cartels while balancing their efforts on supply reduction with drug demand reduction activities. So I'm hoping that is maybe more sensitization and awareness programs for, you know, a lot of the young people, I think, who are targeted for drugs like this.
So Governor Sanwo-Olu yesterday at the Thanksgiving service at Tafawa Balewa Square was saying legations to continue to keep the faith, and he has asked people to shun evil predictions of anarchy and violence peddled by false prophets and enemies of the country. He was saying that we have to live up to the spirit of excellence associated with the themes agenda which his administration has started. He also spoke and told us that he's expecting or hinted that President Muhammadu Buhari will be in Lagos in the next 2 weeks to inaugurate some of the iconic projects, amongst which were the first phase of the Blue Line Rail, which is and also the Imota Rice Mill, the first phase of the Lekki Expressway, and the J.K. Randall Center for Yoruba Culture and History, as well as the kickoff of the phase 2 of the Blue Line from Mile 2 to Okokomaiko. So that we're expecting the president within this period in the next 2 weeks. It was the Thanksgiving service held yesterday, and it was a good time to reflect on what the administration was doing and hope that what they're thankful for coming as the elections are coming forward.
Yeah, and Daystar, my church drama group, got to perform during the Thanksgiving as well.
Nice.
So I want to talk about Rivers State. Atiku campaign has been barred from using public schools. There was a 95 million naira that was paid to the government of Rivers State to get approval. This was confirmed by the spokesperson of the state PDP campaign. Ogbonna Unwuke. He said that the payment was made to the government so that the local states-related elections, that is covering the party governorship, national and state House of Assembly rallies, can be held in different facilities. However, they cannot be used by the presidential campaign committee of the same PDP. The PCC cannot have access to the already paid for locations by the Rivers State chapter. So obviously they have not resolved the issue within PDP, and I'm not sure, I don't know how the presidential candidate of PDP will be able to campaign in Rivers State based on what this article details, because they're not allowed to use public schools at all.
Okay, moving on quickly now to the Punch. Edo Train Attack. Soldiers, police, vigilantes track abductors. 31 passengers missing. Picture story here of Armed Forces Remembrance. Governors seek support for fallen soldiers and families. Call for missing baby probe rises. Government mum. Jackpot, more youths sell assets, seek fortunes abroad. Forex allocation to telecom sector drops. Raid, air chief regrets civilian casualty, orders probe. Agents protest as customs hike imported vehicle duty. And electricity consumers demand new tariff reversal. Okay, which story are we starting
The
with?
picture story. So the governor of Ogun State, Mr. Dapo Abiodun, at a special church service to mark the 2023 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, was held at the Cathedral Church of St. Peter's in Abeokuta on Sunday. And he just, his message was that he wishes to reiterate that it's important that we have this annual celebration, but then these fallen heroes have dependents, and it's important that, we provide for them. And he was calling on to well-meaning Nigerians and, just all of us to be able to, contribute something towards their dependents so they're not living, suffering as a result of the sacrifices that our heroes have made on behalf of our country. He, of course, he says we're grateful for how our country has been held together because of these sacrifices.
Okay, let me take another story in Punch.
Okay, let me take the Nigerian Customs. So the Nigerian Customs has year on year continue to increase the cost of imported vehicles, duties on imported vehicles. So, and this report in the Punch says that they've increased it again this January by 10%. And so the agents are complaining. Punch interviewed the some custom agents, the chairman of the Ports and Terminal Multipurpose Limited chapter of the African Association of Professional Freight Forwarders and Logistics of Nigeria, who said that, the custom has hiked their duty to that of 2014 baseline. So I think 2014 cars and below is baseline for, how the duties are paid. And according to him, he says there's a depreciation cost, 10% depreciation value rate on those cars that are supposed to be paid back to the agents, which is supposed to, but the custom has not been paying that. Now, the Customs Public Relations Officer, Timi Bomodi, says the development was based on government's fiscal policy on age limit and that nothing has changed. I don't think it is necessary. These people know the rules. We don't need to start this year like that. People are trying to see that things work out the way it should be. The government, of course, is trying to raise money. We don't need to be hitting ourselves over the head. We don't need all of this. But the agents are insisting this will, of course, affect cost of vehicles and it will stop importation, which will, of course, take them out of business. I think because customs should, start to balance things. Every year, in fact, the whole of last year, we were always taking the issue of the NCS on front pages on these increases, increments, and now is affecting businesses around the ports. They should balance things. It's extremely important. We cannot take out food from people's mouths while we're trying to govern them.
So I wanted to take the story about forex allocation as reduced to telcos. Between 2021, from the breakdown, and 2022, there's been a decline in the amount released to telcos. Example being that in January 2021, $21 million was released to telcos, but in January 2022, it was 18 million that was released. Information also had it that in March there was 12 million released in 2021, but March 2022 it was about 8 million that was released. The conversation is because telcos need these monies to settle, enable procurement of equipment, pay for things such as softwares, hardware. It also helps in fulfilling international obligations that they have to provide the services they give to us. Good news, though, is that the Forex, the CBN has been able to include telcos in the priority forex list, an arrangement made possible by the Minister for Communication, Mr. Adebayo Shitu, and the expectation is that this year things will look better for telcos. He said that it appears telecommunication companies will be struggling to access the needed forex, but they are hoping with the priority list will be a bit easier than it was last year for them.
Yes, I want to take the human interest story. It's about call for missing baby probe rises. So the Lagos State Police Command have remained silent over the disappearance of a baby. So what happened was a woman, a child, her name was, let me try to get the child's mother, Fortune Obafuso, said on Friday, December 23rd, after she had delivered her baby, the police came into the hospital to arrest her from the SCID. And they took, she's 35-year-old, they took her. The police's name was Inspector Samuel Ukpabio. So he took her and the baby, and according to the woman, the baby was taken from her and never returned. And the police was saying that she wanted to sell the baby. That was the allegation against her. But since that time, the police then gave her 15,000 naira, threatened not to return the baby, and now gave her 170,000 naira again. And there's a suspicion of maybe did he sell the baby, or was the baby sent for adoption? That wasn't very clear on what happened. Although Falana has, lawyer Falana has gotten involved and has insisted that though the police, through the spokesman, Benjamin Hundeyin, said that the policeman has been arrested so far. He said it's one thing to arrest, another thing to actually charge him to court. They're yet to charge him to court to know exactly what are the facts of the case, what happened to the child, where are the whereabouts, who was he, was the child given for adoption with the mother's authority, what exactly happened. We're still waiting to hear from the police. The police have been quiet on this matter, but it's important for us to continue to ask the questions and hope that the investigation is concluded and this 35-year-old woman is giving her baby back. Moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. Edo Train Attack. Security agents comb bushes for 31 abductees. Cash withdrawal limit begins today. Ohakim thanks Nigerians for solidarity over the terror attack. Okay, which story are we taking?
Okay, the Edo Train Attack. Many of us heard over the weekend that there's been another attack in this case, is a train station, and it was in Edo State at the Tom Ikimi train station, Igueben in Edo State. This happened on Saturday. The victims are the manager of the station, Godwin Okwe, that there were would-be passengers on the train, and also people who were just around the place. They said that about 31 people were kidnapped during this attack at the train station. So this wasn't a moving train like the one that happened on the Kaduna-Abuja train. This was at the train station where they just came and just rounded up people that were at the train station. And the report so far is that the police and security personnel are on the heels of these abductors, and they're doing their best to make sure that they arrest them. The Edo State Commissioner also said that one of the victims escaped at 8:15 on Saturday, and that the other 31 were still in captivity. And that's all that they can say. The NRC is saying that they can't really say much because it's a security issue, but they just know that the police and security personnel are on ground to make sure that these people are arrested. And also one suspect is in custody.
Okay.
So let me take the story of the new CBN policy taking effect from today, which comes 4 days after the central bank has asked all commercial banks not to give the new Naira note over the counter. Just 4 days ago, CBN has given instruction to all commercial banks not to issue new Naira notes on the counter, but they should use it through only ATM machines, which means that for them, it would provide better circulation. From today, however, the new policy takes place. This new policy means that you cannot withdraw more than 500,000 Naira monthly as cash. No, weekly. Under the new management, weekly limit for cash withdrawals. For individuals, 500,000 Naira. Companies, 5 million Naira. And if you decide to withdraw more than 500,000 Naira as an individual, you would have to pay a 3% processing fee. As a company, if you decide to withdraw more than 5 million Naira, you will pay a 5% processing fee. And also, they said if you are going to be doing this, you need to submit anybody that wants to withdraw money via check above 100,000 naira cannot get it as cash. I'm sure what that means is it will be paid into the account, while extant limit of 10 million naira on clearing checks still exists. Then, if you want to pay in cash into your account, you will need to drop your national ID card or passport or driver's license. You must drop your BVN, drop your tax identification number of both the payee and the payer of any amount more than this 500,000 and 5 million naira. There's a lot of regulation that will be implemented. We will start implementation today, and let's see how that plays out in the bank.
Okay, let me just take one more story. I think it's important. So this is an update on the assassination attempt on the former Imo State governor. We remember that 4 of the police officers attached to him were killed. And so in a statement that he endorsed, he says that the miracle of his own immediate family being safe after that attempted assassination, you know, they owe it to God, but they're still deeply hurt by the loss of lives of these 4 police officers. He says that they will do all their best, that he knows that there's no amount of words, you know, that can be written to comfort the families of those that lost their lives, but they'll do all their best for their dependents so that they do not suffer any untold hardship. I just thought it was important to take the story because a lot of people focus on the fact that he was grateful that he didn't lose his life and thought, does that mean that the lives of the police officers is unimportant? And I'm happy that he made this statement to show that he's deeply sad that they lost their lives.
Nigerian Tribune, 30 missing in Edo Train Station kidnap. Nigeria trade surplus rises to $11.53 billion actually. Old Naira notes, no extension, January 31st, deadline stands, says CBN. 2022 floods affected 24,714 persons in FCT, says agency. Obi calls for multi-layer policing. Atiku Tinubu, Kwakanso Obi in brisk moves for northern votes. An article in London on British government invitation, says campaign organization. So, Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party has said he will facilitate a multi-layer policing to ensure that lives and property are secured with the legal backing that would meet constitutional requirements. He was saying part of this multi-layer he's talking about was the fact that they involve community leaders, they involve local government chairmen to be responsible for the security of their various local governments, and also integrate traditional rulers in order to secure the various communities within their domains. They also see how they can also encourage citizens to also participate, to have an inclusive government where citizens have the access to their security and to help a safer Nigeria. He also had said that he will provide at least 20,000 megawatts of electricity for Nigerians. And I mean, he made a lot of promises. This was doing at the Channels TV town hall on Sunday night, which he was there with his vice presidential candidate. They said quite a few other things, but I'm happy that he's still engaging the voters. And as the elections are coming up, we're going to hear more from lots of other candidates.
Yes, so the CBN released reports that, you know, Nigeria's trade surplus rose from year-on-year by 96% to 11.58 billion for the first 10 months of 2022. That's between January and October 2022. And the report shows that merchandise imports rose for same year-on-year by 1.47% to $42.61 billion in 10 months from $41.99 billion in that period. I'm hoping that the surplus is as I understand it. So a surplus means that if it's compared to our export surplus, it means that as against imports, we did better. That's what I understand surplus to mean. But I'm reading it and I'm seeing they said that in the report, they noted that Nigeria's trade surplus fell month on month from 93.7% to 50 million in October 2022 from $750 million in September amidst higher import bills. The story is not just clearly explained.
The surplus is falling, meaning it's depreciating.
Wrap up. Can I quickly take the story?
Vanguard?
I have one in Tribune.
In Tribune. That's our last story.
Okay, so over the weekend, there were reports that the presidential flag bearer for PDP was rushed to the UK for treatment for an an undisclosed ailment. The spokesperson for his campaign, former Senator Dino Melaye, says that this is untrue, that his principal has been invited by the United Kingdom, just the same way the candidates for APC and for LP were invited, and that was the only reason that he's there, and not for all the stories that we have been hearing left, right, and center. So
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review.